Hey everyone, welcome to Movie Review Mom. Today I'm talking about the Goosebumps 2 movie. I gave it a B, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I saw the first Goosebump movie. There's my in a nutshell. La la la. I saw the first Goosebumps movie and I got a kick out of it. I have 4 sons and they loved reading those Goosebumps books when they were little. And so we were really excited to see that movie and got a kick out of it. I thought when my kids were little reading those books that they were too scary for me. I would read them with them and I'm like, this is scary for kids, but they just ate it up. And the first movie, didn't disappoint. It was a lot of fun. And of course, anything with Jack Black is usually pretty fun and entertaining. And so it didn't disappoint at all. Now, Goosebumps 2 has a smaller budget, but it does a pretty good job. It's still fun. It's got that same flavor to it. And if you go in it just kind of expecting the same thing, then you won't be disappointed. It's not memorable, which is probably why I also gave it a B. But it's a fun franchise to have around Halloween. It'll certainly get you in the mood for Halloween, that's for sure. All right, some tips for parents are that there is some profanity, and unfortunately, most of it comes out of the lips of a very lovely teenage girl, which is weird. Almost all of it comes out of her mouth. And I hate that. I hate especially watching women swear, or girls, kids especially. Come on. But anyway, there's lots of property damage, as you can imagine. And one thing that I liked is that the mom kicks a boy out of her daughter's bedroom. And I thought, good for her. That's what my parents did. Well, hold on. My parents never had to kick a boy out of my bedroom because we had the rule, no boys in the bedroom. And so I didn't. And so I was glad to see that in this day and age, there are some parents with good sense who still have that rule in their home. So that was good. There are kids in perilous situations. Nothing super, super terrible, but I got to say that because parents need to know these things. There's a kid whose pants fall down like 2 or 3 times, and you see his boxer shorts. Whatever. There are some creepy images, however. Even just the ventriloquist, Slappy. He's creepy. So if your kids get creeped out by Slappy, then you probably want to skip the movie. But if they think it's funny and they're in the mood for that, then I guess that's okay. There is some violence between creepy things and the kids who are trying to get rid of them, like in the first movie. There's some fighting with ghosts and goblins and creepy things. And really, actually, the creepiest moment is when all of these Halloween masks and things reanimate. Well, not they animate because they never were alive to begin with. So they're in the store and all of these Halloween decorations and things come to life. So that's kind of scary. Really, that's at about the 44-minute mark. So the first 43 minutes are pretty safe, other than Slappy showing up and just being generally creepy. And then all of the Halloween decorations come up about 45 minutes into the movie. So just so you know, there's also some name calling and some bullying. And so those are kinds of conversations you can have with your kids, either before the movie or after, and talk about why is that not okay? Because obviously it's not. Is there an uplifting theme in the movie? Yeah, there are a few. At the very beginning of the movie, Sarah, who's the teenager, she's getting ready to apply to colleges. She's writing an essay about fear. And so she starts off typing, fear is something everyone experiences, which is true. And that alone could be a good conversation starter for your kids or with your kids. Talk about, what is fear? What makes us scared? How do we overcome fear? If it's a fear that needs to be overcome, having a fear of something that's serious, like murders or terrible things like that, I don't know. That's healthy. You want them to be, have a little stranger danger. That's a healthy type of fear that you want your kids to have. But maybe an unrealistic fear might be of dogs, maybe they are afraid of big dogs or something. I don't know. Um, I wonder if I would have a fear of spiders if it weren't for my dad. When I was a little kid, my dad was a big tennis player, and I remember just being at the courts. We were always at the tennis courts with him, and it was nighttime, and he was had just finished playing, and we were walking back to the car, and all of a sudden he reached down and he picked up a daddy longlegger, and that's a spider with really long legs, and I had never seen one before, and he was holding it up, and I remember looking, thinking, wow, look at that bug. That's really interesting. And I wasn't afraid of it until my dad went whoof and threw the spider at my face. I mean, who does that? Come on. I mean, he's a prankster to begin with. But still, ever since then, I've been traumatized by spiders, and it's his fault. Anyway, so back to some more themes. Everyone has a story to tell, and I really like that. I'm an author of 23 books to date. Actually, I just finished writing my 24th. I take that back. It goes to press and will hit stores in December. But anyway, I believe that everybody has a book in them to write. And so I liked that element of this story, that everyone has a story to tell. There's an element of betrayal, an element of family, and family what is ultimately most important. And then Sarah also says, maybe when you face your fears, life stops being so scary after all. So there's a very strong theme about conquering your fears. And that kind of wraps up the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie when she says that. All right, so there are plenty of things that I liked about the movie. I'll tell you about some of them. If you are a Nikola Tesla fan, he gets some screen time. There's a little town, and in the town there's a statue of Nikola Tesla. There's some science experiments going on that play a role. There's a machine, a Tesla machine type of thing that plays a big role in the story, so you'll like that. One of the characters that I really liked a lot was the mom, of course, probably because I could relate, played by Wendy McLendon-Covey. She has a lot of really funny lines, and she's got this snarky personality that I just got a big kick out of. So there's that. Then they have this next door neighbor, Mr. Chu, who builds this amazing huge octopus. Well, his whole yard is filled with Halloween decorations, but he's got this massive Halloween decoration that looks like an octopus on his roof made out of purple balloons, and it's really cool. And you can imagine what happens. Of course, it animates, comes to life, starts attacking them, that kind of thing. But it's interesting because the character is played by, trying to read my notes here, what's his name? I'll get to it here in just a minute. Anyway, he's in a lot of movies. Gosh, I can't believe I don't have his name written down in my movie review. If you ever want to read my full movie review, go to moviereviewmom.com, and then you can read more stuff that I say about the movies. Anyway, he's this next door neighbor, and he's just there for some comic relief, and he plays a very small role considering that he's been in a lot of movies. And I can't think of his name right now. So one thing that I actually like too is the opening music. It just kind of has this kind of Halloween-y, magical melody to it that makes you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm in the mood for some fun Halloween movie. And I thought that was a great start. And it had kind of almost a Disney-esque type of a feel to it. There are lots of jumps and scares, but they're not super scary. They really are toned down for kids because it's a kids movie, so that's good. There's this part where these street fighters come to life. They're like the little figurine street fighters, and it's awesome because my 4 sons used to play Street Fighter all the time. So there's fun, cute little snippets like that in the movie that your kids will really get a kick out of. I also really liked Slappy's laugh. When it's a high pitch, not when he's all evil and it's lower pitched, but when it's high, it's just kind of funny. So Jack Black actually was the voice of Slappy in the first movie, but he was really busy during the filming of this movie because he was actually filming The House with a Clock in Its Walls, which will also get you in the mood for Halloween. Be sure and read my review for that because I have mixed feelings about that one for for little kids to see in terms of Halloween movies. But anyway, so he was really busy, and so he couldn't voice Slappy. Now, I don't know how long it would have taken to do that, but he didn't have enough time to do it. But anyway, Mick Wingert takes on the voice of Slappy in this movie, and he does a really good job. Let's see, what else? Oh, I also really like that there is a book that has great power in this movie. I mean, because the books are based on R.L. Stine's books, as was in the first Goosebumps movie, there's a theme of books, of literature, of reading, the power of words. And I really like that because I'm an author, and anytime anybody says anything about books, I get all excited about that. So as a parent, of course, you want your kids to read and use their own imagination rather than just watching a movie, throw something at you. The books are almost always better than the movies. And that's saying a lot because I love movies. And I would say pretty much 99% of the time, books are better, except, this is my opinion, The Lord of the Rings. I thought those movies were so much better than the books. I couldn't even get through the books. And I guess that doesn't say much about my imagination, but I loved the movies. So anyway, there you go. There it is, Ken Jeong. He's the actor that plays this next door neighbor who builds this big purple octopus out of balloons. I had to read my notes to find it. So what I liked about the fact that he's in it is most of his movies are rated R, and he's quite nasty and inappropriate for kids' movies. But he was totally clean, totally legit, just kind of a side character. And so I liked that. I appreciated that. Let's see. So now the good news and the bad news is if you liked the first movie, you'll probably like this one. And if you like this one, the good news is it leads into there's a ending that makes you believe that this franchise is not dead, like some of the characters, that they're going to be making some more. And then here's a fun little tip is the real R.L. Stine actually makes an appearance in this movie. I love that. I love that when like M. Night Shyamalan always puts himself in a movie in some obscure little scene. He's just some random guy. So R.L. Stine is at the end of the movie where a kid is getting a science award. And so R.L. Stine plays the teacher who's awarding this science award. Anyway, so look out for him because I thought that was really fun. All right, so there were a few things I didn't like. So there are these two guys, these two friends, and they play or they create a business called the Junk Brothers. And so they go into this creepy house and the movie ensues, right? You never actually find out who was the person, who was the client that called them into that creepy house. Not that it's a big deal. I was trying to think of something I didn't like, and so I didn't come up with that many things. That was one of them. And then the CGI in the second movie is definitely not as good as the first movie. It's still okay, but some of it doesn't look quite as good. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, but it's just not as good. And you'll see when you see the movie. Here are some funny lines. So the mom is kicking out this boyfriend, right, in her daughter's bedroom, and her son is standing there and behind her saying stuff, and she's like, "Go to bed. I don't need a wingman." And I just thought that was funny. I don't know why. And then the next morning, the son is in the kitchen and he's trying to do the science experiment, and she says, "Honey, you need to stop electrocuting yourself and eat your breakfast." And she just says these things in this kind of a snarky attitude. It just cracked me up for some reason. So there are two boys, and they have this business, and they're talking about ways to earn money. And Sonny, played by Jeremy Ray Taylor, says, "You know what else has monetary value, Sam? Actual money." All right, maybe these lines are funny. But at the very, very end, R.L. Stine, played by Jack Black, shows up, and all of this crazy action has happened. It's, towards the end of the movie, and he says, "Kids falling from the sky, my work here is done." So there you go. There you have it. There's some interesting lines as well, but I'll let you go online to moviereviewmom.com to read my full movie review. And also be sure and sign up for the newsletter, and you will get a free ebook telling you a bunch of ways to watch movies for free. So see you at the movies. Bye for now.